Welcome back to a brutal Vulcan playthrough. This is episode 6, Skybox edition. And here I am just entering the base after a short mining run. First thing first, go ahead and replace the tank on the pneumatic drill. Here I'm checking the pressure. And I'll go through my post-mining procedure of kind of sorting out the ore, getting everything in nice units of 50. One of my quirks. And then we'll go ahead and degas this stuff or smelt if we're lucky. If not, we'll just degas it. And as typical, anything laying on the floor is degas ore. And anything in this shelf is either degas or if it's an obvious thing like silver. In this episode, I'm going to finally put in a station battery, put up more solar units. I have to make a small change to the logic I have set up. It's using a logic write. I need to change that to a batch write because I'm going to put up multiple solar units up. And I'm going to start on a new workshop area. And this new workshop area will be next to the hydroponics. And that is where I'm going to place all the cooling equipment and water processing. So it'll be close to the hydroponics, so it won't take much to run pipes back and forth. And it won't clutter this room here. Now, I did consider putting it in this workshop. There's an open area of about, 3 grids in the back there, or I guess to the front. But I decided to go ahead and just build out a new workshop and have a big area. If I put it in the back of the current base, or I guess from the airlock perspective, it would be in the front of the base. I had to run a pretty long pipe all the way down. And here I am just double checking the inputs, outputs before I go ahead and pop it off. And I should have done this originally. I said I don't typically use logic circuits, and I would typically move on to an IC chip by now, but it works, and I figure a quick change will be faster than ripping it all out and putting a chip and programming and all that. All right, so we got that in. That was a vertical. Now the horizontal is up here, so we'll just double check all that. Actually, I think that's the vertical. So put a batch writer in, and once again, I'll just reset it, make sure it's the same inputs as before. Actually, the batch writer is the first time I ever used a batch writer. It's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. And we'll set this horizontal, and off it goes. So in theory, it's tracking correctly. And we have our station battery now. Maybe something I could have done a little earlier, but power really hasn't been a problem. But as I add more cooling stuff and run the AC all the time and finally switch over to a arc welder, I figure power might become a problem, so we'll just take care of that now. And a little management of the furnace here. So we're going to put it here. I didn't really have a good place to put the battery, and I thought about moving expanding the base out by 1 grid and have like a little enclave to mount the battery in, but I finally decided, well, I'll just stick it in the hallway. And I can still get through. And we'll just do some recabling here, change this all around a little bit. Clean up that little mess. And this will run straight down. Loop it around this way and that way, and it all flows down. Now, unfortunately, once I plug this in, it will I'm not sure how well it does competing with the other APC. I think it's going to just pull all the charge from the other chargers. Don't really have a good grasp of what's the priority order. Does each get like a little bit of the same power, or is it scaled, or the bigger battery gets priority access, or how that works? And fortunately, I welded it. I put a little bit of icky gas in the environment. Okay, so we got that in. Now I'm going to make some more solar units, solar panels. Of course, the next storm comes through. I'm going to repair them all. Speaking of which, that next storm is probably getting pretty close. So I also want to make Invar. And to do that, I want to get this filled up during the day. Actually, during the peak day. And then I already have the iron and nickel. And I have some silver that has not been degassed yet. So I'll throw that in there, spike the temperature, throw in the nickel and iron, and then I can use the valve to bring the pressure down. If it's a little too hot, since it's open in the back, it will naturally cool, or I can inject air from outside in either one to bring it down, and we'll have Invar. And with Invar, I can make an arc welder and stop polluting the inside of my base with gas. There's the silver. Okay, we're going to toss that in there. And boom. And this iron and nickel I have in my inventory, that has been previously degassed, so it will not reduce the temperature of the furnace. Pressure is a little high. That's good, because it's easier to get that pressure down than the other way around. Because if it's too low, if I add gas, I could bring the temperature too low, which is bad. So we'll just do a little bit of that. Check it. Don't want to F it up and get a little too aggressive on letting air out and getting there. Honestly, this would have been having another switch that operates the mode, so I can invert the active vent, give me more fine tuning right here. So that might have been more useful, but it's the way it's set up now. At some point, I'll put in a new furnace, advanced furnace, that is, and that will be enclosed. Fortunately, when I went ahead and hooked up the station battery, I interrupted the print, so we'll just continue that on. And so what I'm doing now is I have to wait until I go outside to install things. So I printed a few more solar panels, and I'm going to print stuff for the base expansion, bunch of frames. I think I need a lot more sheets, walls, and all those types of components. And then since we have a hot furnace, we'll go ahead and finish off smelting that silicon. And I can't go out until it gets cooler, so just sitting here and just printing as much as I can. And I need more walls. Keep checking out there. I think it's getting dark now. And need a ladder, because the jetpack limit is based on the ground surface, not about a frame. So being on a frame does not extend the distance you can use a jetpack. So I need to climb up to where the solar panels are so I can mount additional panels up there. Fortunately, I have to get the glass. So I have to come back down, get the glass, come back up. And up the ladder. Yeah, I thought about putting a wall right here as a sort of roof element, just so I have to do this and try to jump over it. If I go right in the corner, it's not a big deal. But I've got to bring walls with me. So we'll put another ladder over here. Climb up here. And I need to put a little wiring in. Kind of a bit tight up here, so we'll run the wiring first. And wiring there, and wiring there, and zip it all the way down. Actually printed one too many solar units for the roof here. And I could have put it down below where I had the ladder because that side is not blocked because the sun's on that end. But I don't end up mounting the last one. But I realized I need glass. So I'm trying to figure out how to go down a ladder. There you go. And we'll have to put the chunk away and scoot over there. Make a little hop, not too much of a hop. And back in. And I have no power. Probably because I plugged in the station battery and it just didn't have enough time to really, well, it's not even plugged in. Nothing's plugged. Oh, the station battery didn't have enough time to really charge because I did it kind of late in the day. So we'll just happen to, I'm not sure what happens if you put them both on the same power. I'm just going to try to be more careful. And of course, I'll spot that in a second. Yeah, that's not going to do me any good there. Okay, we're going to run off that battery. We'll just be long enough to get this going here. Just turn all this stuff off. And get the vents still running. Trying to get rid of some of the gas. Back up the ladder, across the roof like a mouse. Still didn't bring any wall units. Back up. Okay. Now we have glass. So we'll just drop these in. And the minute... they start tracking even without the glass in them. Yeah, I think it probably shouldn't do that. I think it should wait. But I'm trying to squeeze get that last one in somehow. Because I can't use my jetpack. It won't work at this height. So I just have to kind of hop. I don't want to hop off the building. Then I have to go back around and... Okay, look like they're working. So the batch writer logic chip works. First time to use it. Interesting. Because typically I just kind of, rush ICs and use ICs from then on. Okay, so now we turn that off for now. And yeah, I've got a little bit of junk in here. And while it's still at night, let's knock a hole in the side. Close that door. Just a little less room to have to vacuum out. And let's close that. And I don't need that vent on. I'm going to figure out in a second. I should probably turn that vent off. Nope, haven't figured it out yet. Oh well. There it goes. Kind of in a rush. I need to get this done before daylight happens. So I'm basically sacrificing a mining run here. And can't fly out there, jump out there, I'm going down. So I have to kind of wiggle my way through here. Uh-oh. Seems like every time I kind of rush, my coordination goes down the crapper. Come on, roof. And we'll drop that on. And get rid of this crap. It's best to select a door first, then put it in position. And I brought those iron sheets just for this scenario. I guess I could have put a composite in, but because the room's pretty much already polluted, a little more welding is not going to hurt anything. All right, so let's move that to there. And let's get the big boy online here, since we should be got a solid red, which I think it's better than blinking red. Let's connect that. Okay, so the base is powered off this, and we have all those solar panels now charging it. So that should put us in a good place. And get that on. Let's get all the yucky stuff out of here. We'll turn both of them on and get another vacuum in here. Now, I haven't finished putting that platform out there, so I'm going to have to break the seal again and partly contaminate the base to go ahead and do that. So, an electron, that's in one of the other printers. It's probably in this printer here, and we have the Invar. Okay, so we'll go a little faster. Build a battery charger so I can start charging off that station battery. A whole bunch of ingots rolling around. And so I'm kind of stuck inside, and I need to make some more walls and sheets and things like that for base expansion, and go ahead and get a battery charger, make some more large batteries, and put us in a better spot. I guess I can remove that APC at some point. I was looking at that, my old light up there. Don't need any. Build some more large. And print that off. Another CO2. Kind of see what I have here and what I need to print, counting up walls and doors. I think I have a vacuum in here now. Let's go ahead and check. We're over here. Yep, we have a vacuum. So we can turn those off. And a little less crap in here. Oh my goodness, speaking of crap, this room is full of it. Turn my lights on now with a chip and the sensor. You can detect if you're in a room or not and have the lights come on automatically. But not on the priority list yet. At least I finally grabbed that stupid tank. Get rid of that. If I can find the switch, there it is. At least that lighting in the back is helping a little bit. Room is 36. Yeah, it's creeping up there for sure. If I didn't have an AC in here, I would have been, it definitely been, you know, in the low 40s by now, if not mid 40s. Yeah, there's so many things to do. I'm going. Also, I don't want to have like a little cramped base, you know, try to cram everything in a small little, you know, area. Try to a little more room to kind of spread out. And plus the hydroponics, I need some room in there to really expand out those trays. Basically, I want the grid I'm staring at, those 5 grids, to be totally plants. And I'll end up removing the computer. and just have the whole thing. That'd be I'm not sure how many, but a lot. That'll be if I fill that whole thing up with plants, with potatoes, that's more than enough O2. Now, potatoes or plants do not generate O2 when they're growing. When you first plant them, you don't get any O2. I guess they consume CO2. Maybe they don't consume CO2 either. I don't know. But they definitely don't generate O2 until they're fully grown. Or maybe they do some stuff fractional. But me, because every time they grow, that first group of 3 fully grow, then I picked them all and the seeds and all that, and replanted them. So basically, I went from 3 to 9, and those 9 are not helping in CO2. And then once they get to a certain point, I need to expand those out and just consuming my O2 levels until it happens. Now I have, based on O2 consumptions, about this point, I've consumed about a fourth of my O2 at this point that it started with. So I have plenty of O2 to last quite a bit. It's running out of water. That's the problem. And that's what's getting close to. Well, not quite. I have more water bottles. Plus I have the water sitting in the plant for the plants. But I need to have enough water to drink and keep the plants going. If the plants all die, then game over. Okay, good. Put the gas back in there. And now we're pulling a lot of power to keep those on batteries charged. So that's why the big battery's not been doing too well there. And still waiting for daytime or nighttime. So while I'm doing that, I'm gonna sort some things and see if anything else I can do. Maybe make sure that I'm printing enough stuff. Look through that and whatever I'm missing, print some more up. Nope, got a lot more charged batteries now, and the big battery's off of red, so. And just printing up stuff I'll need for phase change cooling, so I'll need a bunch of valves and make sure I have enough. Well, I'm sort of here stuck waiting for it to cool down a little bit so I can go work outside. Another active vent, never hurts. Make sure I have, let's grab that just in case I need it. I want to break that seal. All right, so now let's crank these out. I'm just going to run this until it goes empty, and then I'll switch over. That way I know there's no gas in there, so I don't have to worry about it blowing up or something. I'm just trying to throw this stuff down as fast as I can. I'm going to get a shell up. And emptied out the original welder. Yeah, I've never mixed fuel for a welder. I've always switched to an arc welder by that point. All right, here's your quiz. So the room is basically, I think, a 3x5, but I have 3 frames that stick out a little bit. And you guess why I did that? I did that for a reason. And that'll become clear in the next episode of why I did that. So you have till then to figure out why I'm using that method. Okay, we'll crack this open. We need to get going here. And print some more of those. So basically I ran out of components and I wasn't going to be able to have enough time to print before it got dark or got light. So we get the printer going and we'll do a little mining until then. So I'm just going to mine whatever I find. Whatever it's in front of me, I'm just going to mine it up. There's silver right there, so that's goodness. So that's just mine silver. So I just want to get as much mine as I can down before it gets warm outside and get out of here. That's about it. Come on, and made the landing. All right, back in. And we'll keep this at 3x. All right, so now I'm sort of like stuck during this day cycle. I need to finish off that construction. And I'll print everything I need to do. So this next night cycle, I'll finish it off and start emptying it out. But until then, I've already got a lot of idle time. So we can do the smelting stuff and go ahead and make sure all the the tanks are full. I need to make an integrated circuit. This IC is for the next episode phase change, and so that standalone video I did on doing a very simplistic way to generate about 60 Celsius gas. I'll use that and I'll generate that and I'll run a pipe where the current AC is and feed that directly into the waste. So instead of using outside, I'll use that tank. And that'll definitely allow me to get the greenhouse down to a proper temperature. And it gives me a little more time. And then after that, I kind of milk that along, dumping it and reloading it as needed. And then focus on making some water and make that first batch of water and cooling it down and get that process going. Also, once I'm able to cool, I can then inject CO2 during the night into the room. And while that CO2 is hot, if I inject it slowly, so I don't spike the temperature, like raise it up a few degrees, and then have the AC bring it back down again, and then slowly inject a little bit more to a certain pressure. That'll allow me to put a lot more CO2 to try to fill out the room with gas as I start pulling out O2 to make water. So sort of a balancing act, getting all these things going here. Playing with the, once again, I'm burning time because I'm waiting for night. And I said before, once I'm able to do some far better cooling in the hydroponic room, then I can just go outside without too much of a problem. Because then I know I can cool that waste gas down reasonably quickly. Yeah, I need Constantin to make printer mod. I was thinking if I can do that while I'm sort of waiting around, staring at various things, and just kind of look at what can I print off here that's going to be useful in a little bit. That when I set up the phase change stuff, I'm not have to print anything. Everything is ready to go, hopefully. And might as well see what's going on in here. Yeah, that original jetpack, I should have switched over to atmosphere gas much earlier and saved that tank. That's definitely was a boo-boo early on. Save that tank, and we got plants. Okay. So they're not quite seeded yet, but I gotta make some more hydroponic trays too. So I'm not sure if I'm just going to dig them all up and replant or just pull seeds. I think there's 9 plants there. If I just pull seeds, that'll increase it from 9 to 18, and that leaves the 9 mature plants to start generating O2. So I might go that route. The other route is just take them all up and go right to 27, which means get no O2 until they all for another day cycle, which probably puts me in a better place. So I haven't decided on that. Kind of want to get a little bit of O2 being generated at this point. Yeah, kind of looking at it, say, if I can kind of watch it go up. At least there's a little bit of pollutants in here, so let's go ahead and get that out of here. I guess that was in the old jetpack tank had that crap in there. So we'll clean that back out. So this room is 11 grids, and there's 182 moles per grid, plus what's in my tank. And there's a little bit in that pipe on the O2 unit. So that's still quite a bit. And it's 182 times 11. You know, it's like about 2K. And you start with 2,500 in the tank, plus what you have in your carry, which is 150 moles, I believe, you start with. Now, if pressure starts dropping because I'm making water, I'll just shrink the room down and pump the gas over. Try to maintain that pressure. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. I'm printing some more stuff off, just printing stuff I might need in the future. Looks like it's cool enough. Let's grab what we need and make sure that's turned off. Close that, and open our door to outside. And go ahead and finish putting this in here. I put windows on that side just for a view. I figure that's the opposite of the sun side, so we'll just drop some in here. Now, for a while, this room will just have a vacuum, so it doesn't really matter where the windows are at. But should I ever put an atmosphere in here? That'd be a big deal, putting atmosphere in here without trading. It's a lot of O2 to generate. Okay, so I have a room. I got that venting. I'm wandering around, making sure I didn't leave a hole somewhere. So it looks like we're good. And the pressure is dropping. Went down to 0. Just got to worry about the residual gas here. Go in here and clean out my inventory to get ready to do a mining run. And I'm letting that vent cook, so hopefully we'll get that little bit of extra out of here in time. Now, if I put another active vent where the hydroponic is, I can, mitigate any garbage in the atmosphere. But it should be clean now. I got that enclosed. I now have an arc welder. I shouldn't, once I have a clean vacuum, I shouldn't have to pollute the atmosphere. So now, right now I'm at normal speed, just so you can see how Vulcan continues to evolve and the changes. It's kind of spooky at this point, which is that's probably a good thing. It's probably what they're going for, but it definitely has that vibe, because you don't know where you're gonna drill and go through a hole, and then you have the lava down there, and I'm just so paranoid about dropping in lava. And then I mean, you'll survive for a bit. Your suit takes damage, so you just drop in there for a second or two. It's not like it's ending, but now your suit has all this damage, and I'm not sure if you can fully repair a suit at this point with duct tape. And that means all the components. I think some pieces you can do, obviously. I think like the shoes, you couldn't fix your shoes, something like that. Which they shouldn't get damaged inside the suit, but that's a while ago. So I haven't done a lava test to see, what gets damaged and how repairable is it lately. And now I should be lava down there. I don't know why it seems a little broken up down there. I guess that's more lava-ish, because the top of the lava is kind of cooled, so you have a crust on it. So I guess that makes sense. We'll kick this up to high gear here. Now this video originally was 1 hour raw before I sped up section. I guess we're down to about 35.5 run time. And we'll go ahead and found some nickel, so we'll grab that and clean out our inventory a little bit and head on back. Slow back down, see if I can make the landing here. Can I make it the first time? Yep. Going to end it here. Until next time, see ya.